Fish is a great source of protein, omega-3 fatty acids, and other nutrients, but not all fish are created equal. Some fish are high in mercury, polychlorinated biphenyls, or other contaminants that can harm your health and the environment. Others are overfished or caught using destructive methods that damage the marine ecosystem. Here are 8 types of fish you should avoid eating and some better alternatives you can choose instead. 1. Shark. Shark meat may sound exotic, but it's actually very risky to eat. Sharks are at the top of the food chain, which means they accumulate high levels of mercury and other toxins in their flesh. Mercury can damage your nervous system, especially if you're pregnant or nursing. It can cause symptoms such as tremors, memory loss, vision problems, and mood disorders. Shark meat also contains urea, which gives it a strong ammonia smell and taste. Urea is a waste product that sharks use to regulate their salt balance, but it can cause nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea in humans. Sharks are also endangered due to overfishing and finning, which is the cruel practice of cutting off their fins and throwing them back into the ocean to die. Finning is done to meet the demand for shark fin soup, a delicacy in some Asian countries. Finning kills millions of sharks every year and disrupts the balance of the marine ecosystem. Instead of shark, try swordfish or tuna, which have lower mercury levels and are more sustainable. Swordfish and tuna are also rich in protein and omega-3s and have a firm texture and mild flavor that can be enjoyed in many dishes. 2. Farmed salmon. Salmon is one of the most popular fish in the world, but not all salmon is good for you. Farmed salmon is raised in crowded and dirty conditions, where they are fed antibiotics, hormones, and artificial coloring to make them look more appealing. Antibiotics can increase the risk of antibiotic resistance in humans, which can make infections harder to treat. Hormones can interfere with your hormonal balance, which can affect your mood, metabolism, and reproductive health. Artificial coloring can cause allergic reactions or hyperactivity in some people. Farmed salmon has more fat and calories than wild salmon and less omega-3s and vitamin D. Omega-3 are essential for your brain and heart health, while vitamin D is important for your immune system and bone health. Farmed salmon also poses a threat to wild salmon populations as they can escape and spread diseases or interbreed with them. Escaped farmed salmon can compete with wild salmon for food and habitat, or introduce parasites or genetic defects that can weaken the wild salmon gene pool. Instead of farmed salmon, look for wild-caught Alaskan salmon, which is one of the healthiest and most eco-friendly fish you can eat. Wild-caught Alaskan salmon is certified by the Marine Stewardship Council, MSC, which means it meets the highest standards for sustainability and quality. Wild-caught Alaskan salmon has more omega-3s and vitamin D than farmed salmon, and has a natural pink color and a delicious flavor that can be enjoyed in many ways. 3. Imported catfish. Catfish is a cheap and mild-tasting fish that many people enjoy, but not all catfish is safe to eat. Imported catfish from countries like China, Vietnam, or Thailand may be contaminated with antibiotics, pesticides, or chemicals that are banned in the U.S. These substances can cause allergic reactions, digestive problems, or even cancer. Imported catfish also competes with domestic catfish farmers, who have to follow stricter regulations and standards. Domestic catfish farmers have to comply with the USDA inspection program, which ensures that their catfish is safe and wholesome. Imported catfish does not have to undergo the same inspection process and may be mislabeled or adulterated with other fish species. Instead of imported catfish, buy U.S. farmed catfish, which is certified by the USDA and has a lower environmental impact. U.S. farmed catfish is fed with natural grains and soybeans, which reduces the need for antibiotics and hormones. U.S. farmed catfish also has a mild flavor and a flaky texture that can be cooked in many ways. 4. Tilapia. Tilapia is another inexpensive and widely available fish that many people like, but it's not very nutritious or eco-friendly. Tilapia is a freshwater fish that can survive in almost any condition, which makes it easy to farm in large quantities. However, this also means that tilapia has very little omega-3s compared to other fish, and more omega-6, which can cause inflammation in your body. Inflammation can lead to chronic diseases such as diabetes, heart disease, and arthritis. Tilapia also consumes a lot of corn and soy feed, which contributes to greenhouse gas emissions and deforestation. Corn and soy feed are often genetically modified or treated with pesticides, which can affect the quality and safety of the tilapia meat. Instead of tilapia, try trout or sardines, which have more omega-3s and less environmental impact. Trout and sardines are also rich in protein and calcium, and have a delicate flavor and a tender texture that can be enjoyed in many dishes. 5. Orange roughy. Orange roughy is a deep-sea fish that has a firm texture and mild flavor, but it's also one of the worst choices for your health and the planet. Orange roughy can live up to 150 years old, which means it accumulates a lot of mercury in its flesh over time. Mercury can cause neurological problems, especially for children and pregnant women. It can affect the development of the brain and nervous system in fetuses and children. It can also cause symptoms such as headaches, tremors, numbness, and vision problems in adults. Orange roughy is also overfished and caught using bottom trawling, which destroys the seafloor habitat and kills many other marine creatures as bycatch. Bottom trawling is a fishing method that drags a large net along the bottom of the ocean, scooping up everything in its path. It can damage coral reefs, sponge beds, and other sensitive habitats that support a rich biodiversity of life. It can also catch unwanted species such as dolphins, turtles, sharks, and seabirds, which are often discarded dead or dying. Instead of orange roughy, try cod or haddock, which have lower mercury levels and are caught using more selective methods. Cod and haddock are also lean and high in protein, and have a flaky texture and a mild flavor that can be cooked in many ways. 6. Eel. Eel is a delicacy in some cuisines, especially Japanese sushi, but it's not a good choice for your health or the environment. Eel is high in fat and cholesterol, which can raise your risk of heart disease and stroke. Eel also contains polychlorinated biphenyls, which are industrial chemicals that can cause cancer and hormonal problems. Polychlorinated biphenyls are persistent organic pollutants that do not break down easily in the environment. They can accumulate in the fatty tissues of animals and transfer through the food chain. Eel is also endangered due to overfishing, habitat loss, and pollution. Eel is a migratory fish that travels between freshwater and saltwater to spawn. However, many eel habitats are blocked by dams, weirs, or other barriers that prevent them from reaching their breeding grounds. Eel populations have declined drastically in recent years, and some species are critically endangered. Instead of eel, try mackerel or squid, which have similar textures and flavors but are more sustainable and less contaminated. Mackerel and squid are also rich in protein and omega-3s, and have a soft texture and a savory flavor that can be enjoyed in many dishes. 7. Bluefin tuna. Bluefin tuna is one of the most prized and expensive fish in the world, but it's also one of the most endangered and exploited. Bluefin tuna is overfished to meet the high demand for sushi and sashimi, and its population has declined by more than 80% in the past few decades. Bluefin tuna also has high levels of mercury and polychlorinated biphenyls, which can harm your health and the environment. Mercury and polychlorinated biphenyls can affect your brain, heart, liver, and reproductive system. They can also cause birth defects, developmental problems, or cancer. Bluefin tuna is also caught using long lines, which are fishing lines that stretch for miles with thousands of hooks attached to them. Long lines can catch unwanted species such as sharks, turtles, seabirds, or dolphins, which are often killed or injured by the hooks or entangled by the lines. Long lines also create a lot of waste and pollution, as they often break or get lost in the ocean. Instead of bluefin tuna, try albacore tuna or skipjack tuna, which are more abundant and have lower mercury levels. Albacore tuna and skipjack tuna are also high in protein and omega-3, and have a firm texture and a mild flavor that can be enjoyed in many dishes. 8. King mackerel. King mackerel is a large and oily fish that has a strong flavor and a lot of omega-3, but it also has a lot of mercury and other contaminants that can outweigh its benefits. King mackerel is one of the fish that the FDA advises pregnant women, nursing mothers, and young children to avoid due to its high mercury content. Mercury can affect the development of the brain and nervous system in fetuses and children. It can also cause symptoms such as headaches, tremors, numbness, and vision problems in adults. King mackerel also contains other contaminants such as dioxins, furans, or polychlorinated biphenyls, which can cause cancer or hormonal problems. King mackerel is also caught using long lines, which have the same negative impacts as mentioned above. Instead of king mackerel, try Atlantic mackerel or herring, which have lower mercury levels and are more sustainable. Atlantic mackerel and herring are also rich in protein and omega-3s, and have a smooth texture and a mild flavor that can be enjoyed in many dishes. So there you have it, 8 types of fish you should never eat, and some better alternatives you can choose instead. By avoiding these fish, you can protect your health and the environment, and enjoy the benefits of eating fish without the risks.